told the baby daddy that if he ever looked at her again, he would gouge his eyes out. And I said, that is so mean. That is crazy. Let me just add that book to my TBR. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a fun little video that I'm filming for you guys. I'm going to let the jar, I've done a video with the TBR jar before this video. I'm gonna let the jar pick how long I read today and what I read today. It is currently 11:11. Oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna let a number generator pick how long I read today, and then I'll pick the books out of the jar because a number generator exists. So why would I not use my resources? What is the max number we should put on here? I'm gonna do 15 hours. Anything more than 15 is kind of getting too close to 24 hours. And if I was to read 24 hours, I might as well just do the full 24-hour reading challenge, you know? I don't want to do that today. Generate. We're gonna say that was a practice round. One more time. Whatever, man. 14 hours. Okay. I'm gonna be reading for 14 hours today. I'm gonna go ahead and pick 3 books out of this jar because I feel like I can get through at least 3 in 14 hours. I think I might be overestimating how fast I can read. Before we get back into the vlog, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. I'm so excited to be partnering with Skillshare on today's video because Skillshare is actually where I learned how to edit my YouTube videos. A few years ago, I ended up getting a little bit too eager and buying Final Cut Pro to edit my YouTube videos without knowing what to do and how to use it. I assumed I could just figure it out. I was wrong, which is where Skillshare comes in. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of online classes and members, me still being one of them. Skillshare has classes on a wide variety of topics, anything from illustration, graphic design, photography, social media, marketing, video development, and so much more. Whether you want to learn the basics of watercolor painting, how to edit on Final Cut Pro like I did, or learn how to start your own creative business, Skillshare has classes to take you from a beginner to a pro alongside a supportive community. They also have creative career focus classes as well. So if you're looking for ways to level up in your career or start a new side hustle, they have classes in freelancing, social media, entrepreneurship, marketing, and so much more. It's a place to get inspired, learn new skills, and put those skills to use in impactful ways. The first 500 people to use my link down below will get access to one of Skillshare's best offers. 30 days free and 40% off your first year of your Skillshare membership. Once again, thank you Skillshare for sponsoring today's video and for teaching me how to edit my own videos. I'm just gonna write on my Kindle. First book that I'm putting in here is Sinful Vow. This is a mafia romance book. I got on a mafia kick back in August, and then randomly like 2 nights ago I was like, I'm back on my mafia kick. I'm gonna write Sinful Vow, but only because I am currently halfway through that book and it would be nice to just go ahead and finish it, and it's a good book so far. Sinful Vow. The next book that I wrote down that's going in the jar is Heartless by Elsie Silver. I have already read Heartless by Elsie Silver. My favorite book in the series, next to Reckless. I think I love them equally. Well, that's a lie because I do love Daddy Cade a lot. My best friend Georgia is currently reading the Chestnut Spring series after like what feels like a year of me saying you absolutely have to read this, and guess what? She's obsessed with it. Nobody's surprised. Nobody is surprised by that information. She's at where Willow pushes a child into the pool for bullying the kid she nannies, and I was just jaw-dropped freaking the fuck out because I miss that scene and I miss the character so much. So, potential reread here. Next up we have Wildfire by Graace. I ended up getting an art copy, which is why my cover looks like this. I loved Icebreaker. I included this book in my October TBR for a reason because I loved Icebreaker so much. So we're gonna write down that one. Fire. Yeah. Next up I'm including Divine Rivals. I have been told over and over and over again to read this book, and I'm interested in it. I love all of the fan art that there is for it, and also none of this is fact, this is just what I've heard. This is all secondhand what I'm about to say. This man like travels really far during a war for this girl. Does that happen in the book? I'm under the assumption it does, and that's really nothing. Like that's really not anything crazy. Well, that is crazy. You wouldn't think that's such a big incentive, but for me it is. I hope it's true. Divine Rivals. Next up, we have How Does It Feel? What the f is How Does It Feel? Hold on. Did I download this on Kindle? How Does It Feel? Someone messaged me on Goodreads and on Instagram, and they told me that I absolutely need to read How Does It Feel. I read some of the reviews of this book, and someone said it's very much Allie Hazelwood meets Sarah J. Maas. And I was like, in my brain, those two authors are on very different sides of the spectrum. So to put them together, I'm curious. Very curious. This is what the cover looks like. Kind of freaky. Don't know if I love it or if I hate it. I recently got sent this witchy book by Kristen Proby. This is a 3-book series, and I thought I would go ahead and include the first book in the series because the witchy vibes are perfect for October. I know this is kind of some sort of telling about witches and Salem, and if you follow me on TikTok, then you know I love the Salem witch trials. For some reason, that is like my Roman Empire. I watch YouTube videos about the Salem witch trials at least 3 times a week. But the gorgeous witch who graces the town's hidden border shakes him and makes him second guess his directive. She calls to him like no other. This is kind of sounding cheesy, but I am here for it. I recently got sent this book. It's called Stay With Me. Reading to the Dark on Instagram actually sent me this book, and she said that this is the first book to one of her favorite series. In a desperate final attempt to save 19-year-old Mia from herself, she gets transferred to Delore University, a reformatory college in the UK that housed deranged and dangerous young adults who viewed the private institution as their own personal playground. Mia didn't care. Is Mia there as like a deranged and dangerous young adult? Or is she there to work with those people? She needed feelings to care. What? She'd keep her head down, ignore everyone, and make it through the next 2 years effortlessly. Though Mia never anticipated Ollie Masters. I really like the name Ollie. That's really cute. With green eyes, tattoos. That's you can end it right there. You can end it right there. I don't need to know anything else about Ollie Masters. I can already tell you he could be a deranged and dangerous young adult and I would still be in love with him. He could gaslight the shit out of me and I would be like, hi. She is quickly drawn to him, but because of her, she's a sociopath. But because of her sociopathic tendencies, she knows it can only end in one or two ways. Either he will be the one to free her from her past, or she will be the one to destroy him. Rootbound by Tara DeWitt. Tara DeWitt is one of my favorite authors. I love her with my entire heart, and she's coming out with a new book this next spring. I still need to read Rootbound of hers, and then this book. I don't remember the title off the top of my head, but I know I still haven't read another one of hers. Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt is one of my favorite books. It's a masterpiece. It's perfect. I loved it so much. The main character, Tate, has to go home to her estranged family to work on a project that she's been contracted out to do. Why you would say yes to said project, let me tell you, if I was estranged from my family and my company was like, we need you to go work here with said estranged family, I would say no. Oh, her estranged family's home, Logan Ranch, is a now famous ranch functioning as the setting for a popular TV show. Anyways, when she's there, she runs into Henry Markham. He's a cowboy who dedicated his life to the Logan family and to their ranch. Let me guess it's gonna be enemies to lovers. Let me guess she's gonna show up and he's gonna be like, fuck off, what are you even doing here? You have no right to be here. And then he's gonna like find out her secrets and why she's estranged, and it's gonna be so, ugh. They're gonna be enemies until she like cries and he's like, why do I like her? Why do I have this feeling towards her? I'm supposed to hate her. I'm supposed to hate her. S.T. Abbey, who writes the Mind series, before she passed away, she wrote under a couple different pen names, one of them being C.M. Owen, and I was kind of looking into some of her other books last night, and she has so many different books under the name C.M. Owen. So without even like 1 second thought, I went ahead and bought one. Let's not talk about this cover at all. Let's ignore this cover and just carry on. This is very different than the Mind series. It's not gonna have like serial killer aspects to it. So I'm just interested to see her other writing styles. This book is kind of like the first book in the Mindfuck series, where each individual book is like 120 something pages and it continues on in like little short books. I actually only wrote down 9, so I'm only going to include one more book, so there will be 9 books total. The last book that I'm going to include is called What Saves Us. I saw an out of context TikTok quote. We know how I love single dad romance books. I also love single mom romance books. The FMC in this book is a single mom, and in the out of context TikTok video with a quote in it that I saw. The MMC, who was an ex-Navy SEAL, which, ooh, scary! He told the baby daddy that if he ever looked at her again, he would gouge his eyes out. And I said, that is so mean. That is crazy. Let me just add that book to my TBR. And that is the last book that we are including today. Oh no, one fell out. Should I go with this one? Wildfire by Hannah Graace. I'm gonna read them in order too, so we're gonna start with Wildfire. I've been anticipating this book for so long that I'm kind of nervous. What saves us? I don't know if I will get to this book, but we're gonna pick one anyways. The third book is going to be Sinful Vow, which is a mafia book. Again, started it earlier this week. I'm 50% through it. Might as well read it. I think this follows Russ and Aurora. Someone DM'd me on Instagram asking who Russ and Aurora were because it had been a while since they'd read Icebreaker and they didn't remember who they were. I have no clue, but I'm still excited. I want to say, this could be completely wrong, I want to say Russ was the one who worked at that bar that they went to, and he helped Anastasia, the FMC in Icebreaker, when she was like drunk alone at the bar. I want to say that's who Russ is, but I could completely be wrong. The only other character that I remember from that book, like I remember their name, is Henry. Not the first word being Henry! I love him so much. I can't even explain how much I love him. If you didn't read Icebreaker, Henry is one of the side characters in Icebreaker. He's one of the hockey players. He's one of the younger guys. The older hockey players kind of took him under their wing because he didn't really have any friends. And he's just so wholesome. So wholesome. I just want to pinch his cheeks and give him a big hug because he's just a if he was real, he'd be a great person. You'll be sorry you didn't listen to me when you're stuck doing manual labor and team building activities at staff training next week at the camp he's gonna work at. Like I told you guys in my last video, I worked at a camp for 2 summers when I was in college, and it was nothing but manual labor and team building activities and free manual labor. That's what I meant to say. I got paid shit. I should have just stuck with my Chick-fil-A job, but I was like, I'm gonna have fun. Yay! No. This is the guy who worked at the bar. I was right. I still don't know who Aurora is, but I do know that her and Russ have a one-night stand at the beginning of the book at the team's last party that they throw. I'm gonna cry. The first chapter was just all of the characters from the last book just talking and hanging out, and I'm getting emotional because I love them so much. They have a one-night stand at the beginning of the book, and then they end up working at the same summer camp. Will the two learn to peacefully coexist? Or did their one-night stand together start a fire they can't put out? I'm gonna go with fire they can't put out. I forgot to set my timer. I've only been reading for 5 minutes, so let's set it. Start. Ugh. There we go.
A train ride just to see you, ride for hours just to please you. You don't know how much I need
Graace. I will say this 1,000 times in this video. I love these characters with my entire heart. You know the Addicted series by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and how so many people feel so connected with those characters and they just rave and rave and rave about that series because of the characters, the core 6. They feel like an emotional attachment to them. I feel like that's a series specifically that I can think of off the top of my head where people are like, those people in those books are my people. I like that series, but I don't feel that connection with those characters. I do with all of these characters. Russ and Aurora already, and every single cameo of the characters from the first book. These are my people. These are my people. This is my addicted series. This is my core 6, even though there's like 10 of them. They remind me a little bit of my college experience, so it's kind of making me nostalgic at the same time, and that's probably why I feel such an emotional tie to them. This man is doing something that I now do, and that you guys, if you're not confident or you struggle with confidence, you need to start adopting this practice, okay? Russ says the only person who knows you're not confident is you. True! Unnecessary worry is a mentally exhausting process, and by definition, there's no logic in it. There's no logic in it. There is none. I'm telling myself that every single day. I used to struggle really badly with confidence over the past like 3 years, and I feel like now I've gotten to this place to where most of the time I'm yelling at myself in my head. No one cares, and no one knows you're not confident. It's just you who knows. It's just you who knows you're being so insecure. Just fake it till you make it. And then I tell my anxiety to shut the up, because you're helping no one here in this situation. Anyways, if you struggle with confidence, the only person who knows you're not confident is you. So put that energy into telling your brain to shut the up and just fake it till you make it. That's easier said than done sometimes, but it's a good starting point, you know? 'Cause you're my home. This is not what I was expecting. I like this turn of events better than what I thought was gonna happen. This woman, just a character in this book, rerouted her dad's like phone number to where when her dad calls her, it automatically reroutes him to a therapist. I would reroute a few different people's phone numbers to the Church of Scientology or the US Army. Like to sign up for it, just like reroute their phone numbers or something. But a therapist, that's a good one. I never thought about doing that with a phone call. I've thought about doing that, like adding someone's address into stuff. I could sign some people up for therapy, like BetterHelp. Wildfire is done. I'm gonna rate it 4 stars. I really liked it. Something about the camp setting is not my favorite setting for a book. I don't know if that's because, again, I had such a bad experience working at a camp, or if I'm just being over dramatic. Love Rust, love Aurora. Do like Icebreaker better than I liked this one. They had their flaws. Not their flaws, but they had their issues, like their real life type issues. I didn't know until page, what page was it on? I circled it. I didn't know until page 369 that Russ was 6'5". Hannah Graace. You don't think to mention that information until page 369? That was probably smart on your part. I probably would have been drooling at the mouth if you would have mentioned that from page 1. 7 hours and 21 minutes left. What Saves Us is what we're reading next. Stop baking biscuits into my leg, because your claws are out. Bed is open over there. It's all free over there. You and your sister, lay your head down. Lay down. They're running into the baby daddy. You had our baby. Sir, I have a restraining order against you. Get away from me. Are you ready? Are you ready? You will lower your... You're not ready. You're not ready. Stop it, Heather. You will lower your eyes to the goddamn floor. Ah! You do not have the privilege of looking at either of them. And I swear to God, I will rip your eyeballs out of your skull. Come on, Heather. Come on. Hold on, I can do this better. 1 second. I just get so giddy when I want to like tell you guys about what's going on in the book. You will lower your eyes to the goddamn floor. You do not have the privilege of looking at either of them. And I swear to God, I will rip your eyeballs out of your socket if you are so much as tempted to open them in the direction of her when you wake up every pathetic day of your sorry life. Do you hear me? Shane said in a growl. Now get out. I am genuinely so shocked at how good this book is so far. If anything related to pregnancy triggers you, or if you don't like books that talk about pregnancy in general, you're not gonna like this book. It's not necessarily the pregnancy trope. Well, I guess it kind of actually is. Beth, at the beginning of the book, gets pregnant with that guy that Shane, the MMC, just told to fuck off. And it is like dramatic and hooks you in right from the start of the book. Like the first 2 chapters of the book, I was sitting here like, what? I'm sorry, what? I for some reason going into this book expected it to be like the baby's like 4 years old or something. No, she's pregnant from the start of the book. She has the baby in the book. She's dealing with postpartum depression in the book. And I feel so, the empath in me gets so emotional when it comes to like pregnant mothers and things they struggle with while they're either pregnant or postpartum. Reading about her dealing with postpartum depression has been so hard. If you can't read about that, just know it's really heavy, and it has brought tears to my eyes multiple times because of how much she's struggling and how people are treating her because she's struggling. But on the romance side of things in this book, I'm only 40% into it. Shane, the MMC, I'm just in awe of how amazing he is. Also, he's doing something that is so important. He's checking on her. You hear that. Not you guys, but some people hear that and they're like, yeah, he's checking on her. But no, so many people are like, how's the baby? How's the baby? How's the baby? How's the mom? She just shoved a whole being out of her. How about we check on the mom? Okay. Holy, wait, what the f happening? This is crazy. This is so emotional. Also, I think I missed, this is book 3. This is book 3. That would make a lot of sense. Falls Creek, book 3. There's definitely some information I'm able to like figure out while I'm reading it, but I didn't read the 2 books before this. This isn't even straight. Be speaking. It's still not straight, is it? Too soon, but this book is perfect. I might be speaking too soon, but I'm thinking this book's gonna be 5 stars. 4 hours and 30 minutes. It is 1:23 a.m. I have an hour and 9 minutes left. I just finished What Saves Us. You guys know Ryan Shea. You guys know Bo, whatever his last name is. You guys know Reese Larson. What do all 3 of those men have in common? They can do no wrong. And they did no wrong. And they were so perfect to the point of when I read the books with those MMCs in it. Do men like this exist in real life? Like I couldn't get that thought out of my head because they were just so lovely. Shane in What Saves Us, he's like top of the list out of all of them. Like if I had to make a list with all 4 of them, Shane would be up there. Shane might just be number 1. Now, I'm gonna give this book 5 stars. I think I'm gonna keep it at 5 stars. Come find me in 2 days. Because if I forget the characters' names, then I'll bump it down to 4.5 stars. That's how it always goes with me. But at the moment, it is a 5-star book. Maybe even a 6 out of 5 star book. It was so good. And now, after reading about some of the side characters in this book, I really enjoyed them. So I might go back and read the first 2 books in this interconnected series. And then just go check out all the other books about this author. I have never heard of this author before. She's great. I loved her writing style. Small town romance. There was like the perfect amount of spice in it. It wasn't like too crazy, but it was also there. There was a lot of tension, but mostly like it was just so emotional, but not emotional in a way that it was like a roller coaster. It was more like a steady emotional. I struggle with books when it's like roller coaster. Steady, I can deal with. I just wish I was in a crying mood because I really want to sob after reading that. If you take any recommendations from this video, even though I still have 1 more book to read, take this one. The last book that I'm going to be reading, or I guess I'm going to see if I can finish it in the next hour and now 6 minutes. I might set my clock back to hour and 10 minutes. Is Sinful Vow by, I believe it's Asia Monique, but I might be wrong. Asia Monique. I was right. This is what the cover looks like. This is a mafia romance, and I feel like while reading this book that I have missed a series that might have come before this. I haven't found, I tried to do some research and I didn't really find anything. There was so much mentioning of characters and I was like, who are these people? And you're kind of giving a little bit of a backstory that, you know, authors do sometimes. They want to give people who haven't read the previous books the the insight to who they are. And then the people who have read previous books, they're like, I know this character, you didn't have to tell me that, but like, I get what you're doing here. That's kind of the vibes I'm getting from it. The tropes in this mafia romance are arranged marriage. I think that's it. Badass FMC. Like, she's a killer. Not to compare like every badass FMC to Lana Myers, but like, she's a bad bitch like Lana Myers. I'm kind of confused on a couple things that are going on in this book, which tends to happen to me, but I'm just going with the flow. Like, I kind of don't understand the direction. I like understand, okay, I understand it, but I also cannot foresee what the conflict is going to be at the end. And normally I'm really good about that. The FMC is working to save people from sex trafficking. Again, this is mafia. So these people have a lot of different enemies, small enemies that could turn into big enemies in a lot of different ways throughout this book. So I'm like, what is the conflict gonna be? I need to find somewhere to buy a new comforter because I've gotten sick and tired of putting my duvet on my comforter. So I've been lazily throwing my duvet cover on top of this to keep it clean, even though it's old as shit, and that's probably really stupid. I don't know, I've been doing, oh, and it looks prettier. I've been doing that. I need to find somewhere to buy a comforter. I really wanted to be an adult and like deal with it, but I hate it. And it's annoying, and it makes me want to wash my bedding less, which is gross. Wow, my eyes are about to shut. I just finished Sinful Vow. Mafia can be hit or miss. We all know that. This was a hit. I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. I think it will get better and better with each book in this I think it's an interconnected series. I don't know if the storyline continues. We will see. I will say, for it being only 250 pages, they packed it all in. Oh my gosh, my Kindle is on 2%. They packed it all in, and it wasn't cringy. That's something I find with mafia. Sometimes it can be so weirdly cringy, and you're like, who wrote this? This is for 14-year-old me. That's for 14-year-old me, not 24-year-old me. Love that at the beginning of the book, someone tried to put their hands on Lucia, and Enzo punched him in the face. And that's what I'll end you guys off with for today. I do have 5 minutes left, but